Welcome. There is an article that I read. It's written by a man named Albert E.N. Gray. Fantastic article. And if you get the chance to read it, I would highly recommend it. Even more than that, I would highly recommend you read it every day for 30 days. This will have a huge impact on your life. Why? Because this article, in just a few short pages, makes a fantastic impact in how he describes the difference between people who get results and people who stay in the same place. People who are successes in life versus people who are failures in life. So I want to share that the article is called The Common Denominator of Success. And I want to share some of the ideas from that article today. Really important article. And like I said, if you read it consistently, which will be one of your action steps, you'll get a lot out of it. So first point is that people who are successful do things, they make a habit of doing things that unsuccessful people are not willing or wanting to do. I'm going to repeat that. Successful people do things on a consistent basis. They make it habits to do things that other people don't want to do. So I'm going to give you a really quick example. My brother's a real estate agent, and often people come up to him. They'll have people come up to him and say, "Oh man, I wish I was a real estate agent. It's just like easy money, like you make all this without doing very much." And he said, "Mark, it's hard to hear that inside. I just laugh inside because no one's willing to work evenings and weekends, but everyone wants the money, right? No one's willing to do what I do every day to make lots of money like I do." Think about this for a second. Successful people are motivated by the desire for pleasing results. Successful people are motivated by the desire for pleasing results. Unsuccessful people are motivated by the desire for pleasing methods. I'm going to repeat that again. This is such an important statement. Successful people are motivated by the desire for pleasing results. They're looking at the results. They're looking at their goals. Unsuccessful people are motivated by pleasing methods. Well, can I do it by watching TV for 3 hours a night? Well, I'm all over it then. Okay, listen, you're not going to get results if that's what you're motivated by. So really the key question here, and I'll talk about this in a sec, the key question here is how do you motivate yourself to focus on the results rather than the methods? And again, I'll probably get into that another time. For this time, I really want to emphasize certain parts of this article, okay? So I'm going to ask you, do you have any money partners? How many real estate properties do you own? What are you willing to do to get those real estate properties? Are you into the next get-rich-quick scheme? Or are you willing to actually do work for them? Because listen, do you know anyone that has a bunch of properties? Well, think about a few people in your life. Do they have money partners that invest with them? Do they go out and how many hours a week do they work on their real estate portfolio, building their real estate business? How much do they work at it? If they are doing certain things, I can guarantee you they will get certain results, especially if they've made a habit of doing these things. So many times I hear people say, I need to get out of my comfort zone. I need to get out of my comfort zone. Give me a break. There is no comfort zone. That's not why you want to change. That's not why you want to grow, because you're in your comfort zone. You're in your uncomfortable zone. What you're in is your familiar zone, okay? You're in your familiar zone. And do you need to become uncomfortable in certain ways to be successful? Yeah, most times. To grow, you need to be uncomfortable. But listen, you're already uncomfortable. You're in your familiar zone, not your comfort zone. You're familiar, you've got patterns, you've got certain habits, but they're not taking you to where you want to be. Okay, let's talk about this quick. So, what do people not like to do? I focused on this on real estate, okay? What do people not like to do? Again, successful people do the things that unsuccessful people don't want to do, right? So these are some of the things that people don't want to do that you're going to have to do. I'm going to read the list here. First, feel potential rejection. to feel potential rejection. To have somebody say no to you. Get used to it. Get used to it. Listen, if this is so funny because in some realms we understand this, in other realms we don't. As a kid, how many times did you fail? How many times did people laugh at you when you were learning to walk or learning to talk in a certain way or whatever? You were laughed at all the time. How many times were you told no? And you kept at it and you kept at it and asked again and again and again until you got it. Listen, you were willing to do things that unsuccessful people are not willing to do. Adults often are not willing to ask over and over, even if they get a no. Okay? Even if they believe it's best for somebody else, And the person says no, not because they actually even understand what they're talking about, just because that's the first thing they say whenever anyone says, hey, do you want this? They say no. It's an automatic response. You got to get past that sometimes, all right? Secondly, are the successful people you know in real estate, do they call strangers on the phone? Do they talk to strangers in meetings? That's something that unsuccessful people aren't willing to do. Number 3, do they ask for money? Unsuccessful people don't ask for money. Successful people ask for money. Say, I've got something of value here. Do you see value in it? If somebody says yes, they go, great, do you want to invest with me? If you're not going to ask that question, guess what? You're not going to be successful. Next, develop themselves. Successful people develop themselves. It's not comfortable. It's not comfortable to work on yourself and to see things about yourself. You're like, wow, that's what I believe, or that's how I'm thinking. I need to change this. That's uncomfortable. Successful people do it. Unsuccessful people aren't willing to do it. They are not willing to do these things. Lastly, get to know themselves. And this is almost the same vein, right? The crazy thing is that when you do these things, it can become very, very simple. So I can tell you honestly, 1, 2, 3, 4, almost all of these things, getting to know myself, that's something I've always kind of wanted to do. But most of those things on the list were things that I didn't want to do. And you know what? I wasn't successful until I started doing these things. And when I started doing them, when I made a habit of them, this is really important, when I made a habit of them, all of a sudden they became really easy. I'm going to give you an example, a simpler example, okay? I've got 2 young children, and a few years ago they were learning to tie their shoes, and it was like going and walking through, I don't know, hell for them to tie their shoes. You'd think it by their screams, okay? Of their whining, of going like, oh, Daddy, this is so awful. I have to tie my shoes. And it would take them like 5, sometimes 10 minutes to tie their shoes. They'd make lots of mistakes. Listen, they were motivated more by going out and playing on the playground, motivated by the desire to have pleasing results, than motivated by the desire for pleasing methods. So they ended up doing their shoelaces. They did it many times because they wouldn't go outside and play if they didn't do their shoelaces up. So they learned to do them. Now listen, at the start it was really hard for them. But after a while, once they did it hundreds, thousands, well, they probably haven't done it thousands of times yet, but when they did it hundreds of times, it became easy for them. I'm going to ask you, when you're ready to go outside, do you think about tying your shoelaces and just go, oh, it's going to be awful, and start whining to your partner or to your kids or whoever? No, of course you don't. Tying your shoes is just part of the day of getting what you want. Here's the thing. At one time, you hated tying your shoes. Most likely. At one time, you hated many things you do naturally now. And yet now they become second nature, because they just are one step to take you towards your results. This is one thing that you need to do. Take the things that other people don't want to do and do them enough times. And yes, it's not going to be fun all the time at the start. But if you consistently do them, if you decide to do them, if you make that choice and decide to do them and do them, then guess what? They're going to start becoming a non-issue. They're going to start becoming like tying your shoelaces. Every morning you're going to wake up, call 3 people, ask them if they want to invest in real estate. And you know what? Every week you're going to have a couple people that say yes. And it's just going to be part of the system. Every week you're going to call, every day you're going to call a few people on their rental ads and say, hey, do you want to sell your property to me? Do you need to sell your property to me? You know what? At the start, that's really scary. It's uncomfortable. But you know what? The more you do it, the more it becomes like tying your shoelaces. And then it's just part of the day. And it's a non-issue. You just do it. If somebody asks you, do you really like calling people? You'll be like, I don't dislike it. It's just part of my day. Like tying my shoelaces. Do you like tying your shoelaces? Well, that's a crazy question, right? I just do it. It helps me get towards the next step. That's what successful people's mindsets are. All right? Okay, results versus method. Question. Are you more motivated by pleasing results? Having a portfolio that puts money into your pocket month after month after month? Or are you more motivated by your desire for pleasing methods? Watching TV instead of calling a stranger on the phone? What are you more motivated by? And you know what? If you're more motivated by watching TV or whatever, I'm just picking TV, but if you're more motivated by pleasing methods than pleasing results, guess what? You are not going to be successful in real estate. Now, the good news is you can change this in yourself. You can grow in this. And that's exciting news for me, at least, okay? Really what this is, it's a question about delayed gratification. What do I want? What do I really want? What do I want more? Do I want a certain body weight? or do I want this piece of chocolate? Or whatever it is, okay? Do I want to be healthy and play with my kids in my older age? Or do I want to sleep in rather than exercise this morning? It's delayed gratification. Now, if you didn't learn this as a kid, join the club. You're like almost every human being on the planet. But listen, if you don't learn this, if you don't learn delayed gratification, you're not going to have the results that you want to have, okay? Here's some action steps, okay? Number one, download the article, The Common Denominator of Success, online, okay? You can find it free all over the place, okay? If you need a free version, I'll talk with Ken and the other people on our team, and we'll make sure that there's a free version out there for you somewhere, okay? I'll type it up. You know what? I've even, for some of my clients, I've read it. I've got the audio version, so I'll make those available to you. I can commit to making those available to you, okay? So it's even going to be easy to get them, all right? But what I want you to do is I want you to read the article once a day for 30 days. Guess what? That's not a pleasing method, but it'll get you pleasing results. If you read this article every day for 30 days, your outlook on what you need to do, and actually the joy that you can have in doing it, is going to be completely different. Next, number 2, I want you to practice a simple presentation about real estate and share it with somebody who's safe, okay? Someone who can give you feedback, okay? So just ask somebody you know, somebody who's not going to hammer on you or anything like that. They'll go easy on you and say, hey, listen, can I practice my presentation with you? And it doesn't matter whether it's 5 minutes or 30 minutes or I don't know, it shouldn't be 3 hours, okay? But practice a presentation, put it together. Slides are best, or on a computer or an iPad or something like that, and present it to them and just say, hey, can I ask your help to just practice this? I'm going to present it to you, and I just want some feedback. Okay? What did I do well? What could I improve? If you lack so much self-confidence that if somebody gives you an idea of what you can improve, that constructive criticism, you can't handle that right now, or it's difficult for you, no worries. Just say, what did I do well? Just ask people what you did well. That's fine. Just get out there and do it. Take some action. Do things that other people aren't willing to do. Third step. So first step, read the article 30 times in 30 days. Next is practice your presentation, put it together and practice it with somebody who's safe. Third is practice somebody who actually does have money and could invest with you. You don't have to be perfect. Don't worry about messing it up. Practice the presentation, and then ask them, who do you know that would benefit from this? You don't even have to ask them for their money. Say, this is what I'm doing. This is how real estate works. These are all the benefits of it. Now, who do you know? Not do you know anyone, because people will say, oh, I don't know anyone. But if you say, who do you know, it assumes that they do know somebody. And so they will assume they know somebody, and then they will actually give you a name. So ask the question, who do you know that would benefit from this? And what you're going to find is that some people go, you know what, I'm not sure if there's anyone. Fine. But you're going to find there, every once in a while, you find somebody that says, you know what, I know someone this would be perfect for. Great. You just got a great lead. You just made money. You just helped support your family. You are now helping another family because you're going to provide them a great investment that's going to take care of their family. You're supporting families, at least 2 families now, okay? Your own and theirs. Thirdly, and this will happen every once in a while too, is they'll say, oh, could I do something like this? You go, sure, if you want to, right? That's the best answer. If somebody goes, well, yeah, I might know some other people, but what about me? Could I do this? Brilliant. Brilliant. Listen, you've got to take action. Okay, number 4, people who really want to succeed. People who really want to succeed are going to do this. So if you really want to succeed, if you want to be motivated and practice your delayed gratification internally, what you're going to do is you're going to write down a list of 100 people and call them this month. 100 people. What you're going to do is you're just going to announce it. You say, hey, listen, I'm investing in real estate. I've been doing it this long. I've got this many properties, or whatever you want to say. If you don't have a lot of properties, you can say, hey, listen, I'm involved in real estate. This is how real estate, do you have 5 minutes? Yes, good. Or even if you use the first call to book another call, fine. But do it short, okay? This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm excited about. Would you be willing to let me present this to you to practice? Or would you be willing to listen to me for a few minutes? Or do it over the phone and say, so this is what I'm saying, is make it fit you, okay? Make a system that fits you. But be uncomfortable with this. Push yourself in this. Or thirdly, what you could say is, hey, listen, I'm wondering if I could present this to you on what I'm doing. I'm excited about it. And I'm wondering if you know anyone, no, not if you know anyone. Who do you know that could benefit from this? As I build my portfolio, I'm looking for other people to help with their investments, all right? And this is the goal. If you're doing 100 people in a month, that's an average of over 3 people a day, okay? Over 3 people a day. You can do this. If you're crazy serious, okay? But know that if you do this, if you do this last one, number 4, this bit of homework, this action step, you're gonna rock it. You're gonna have more money than you know what to do with at the end of the month, just so you know, okay? Because you're gonna become really good at this, and you're gonna start helping people. Oh, again, always ask for feedback. If somebody says no, say, okay, could I ask you then, for feedback, why not? What is it about this? Is it that you don't understand what I'm talking about? Is it that I presented it in a poor way? And ask for honest feedback, and you'll get great results, great feedback, and you'll have great results, okay? This is your goal if you're doing this last bit of homework. If you're calling 100 people this month, what I want you to do is have the goal of setting 3 appointments a week. 3 appointments a week with somebody. Take your Saturdays, book them up, spend time with people going over your presentation. Okay, now listen, if you want to wait for step 4 until you have a presentation you've practiced a few times, that's fine, but take action. Do things that other people aren't willing to do. Because the common denominator of success is that successful people do things that other people don't want to do. Now, there's another key to this. I'm just going to give you a taste right now, okay? And tease you with it a little bit, and then I'm going to cover it in my next video. In order to desire the things, in order to desire the results instead of desire the methods, you need to foster that. And one way to do that is by working on your why. You've heard this many times. I'm going to fill it out in the next video. Have a fantastic week.